Biliri, a naturally endowed city with thriving businesses, struck by a violent protest that brought it to the knee.
The destruction is too much. A lot of houses have been burnt, you can see, commercial shops and properties of the people. And in addition, lives have been lost. So it's really a very serious setback and it's a sad development. It's unfortunate.
Our shop is burned to ashes. I could not write my final year exams. I had to just decamp the semester and come and check what is happening.
A gaskiya a da ma sannan zan yi kamar mudu 40. 35 in kasuwa ta yi nauyi. Amma yanzu na dawo baya wuce ni kwano 2-3.
Komi da komi da ka sani a cikin kasuwan da aka ne. Waɗansu mu yanzu ba su da abin da za su ci na yau da gobe ma. Nan da an jima ba su da shi.
The task of peace building.
Particularly Biliri, that is considered as an urban center, one of the urban centers in the state, is a very peaceful environment where you will see people of diverse orientation, diverse socialization, mingling together, doing things together.
This is the untold story of the economic consequences of Biliri violent protest that is yet to heal. Founded more than a centenary ago, Tangle Chiefdom is one of the strongholds of Tangle people in southern part of Gombe State, northeast Nigeria. Hosting the headquarters of Biliri local government area in Gombe State, Biliri town has great potentials in the areas of trade and agriculture. Biliri local government area has the population of about 250,000 people. And people here are predominantly farmers and some are into cattle rearing. Biliri is predominantly populated by Tangle tribe, believed to have migrated from Yemen and established Tangle Chiefdom with an exalted traditional monarchy headed by the Mai Tangle.
Lallai mu Tangalu lokacin da ake yamal da dam ta fashe kasar Laraba sai kowa ya fara kama hanya. Mu Tangalu ba bar mu baya mu muna cikin wanda muka fito daga wurin muka zo muka zauna a nan Maiduguri wurin Kukawa. Daga wurin muka taso muna ta bin hanya da sauran yan uwanmu kamar su mutanen Bolawa, su Tula, su sauransu. Muka tafo tare da su, kowa zai samu inda yake, ko muka zauna can dutsen mako wurin da muka fara zama a can dutse. Na Kufai kafin muka sauko nan. To Turawa ne suka ga ya kamata mu sauko nan, suka sauko da mu nan, amma da muna dutse ne.
Biliri is one of the most peaceful local government areas in Nigeria and is famed for religious tolerance. Because of its diversity, a family can have members with different religious beliefs.
The southern part of Gombe, we can say, and Biliri precisely, is relatively similar to other local governments in that particular senatorial district, that is the Gombe South, in the sense that if you take, for instance, Kaltungo, Biliri, Balanga, and Shongom, that constituted what we refer to as Gombe South, they are relatively plural in nature. That's to say, it's a particular segment of the state that comprises of different forms of religion, ethnic background, tribal affiliates, and things like that. It's a very complex setting, and the most important thing for us to appreciate is that if you look at Gombe South, particularly Biliri, that is considered as an urban center, one of the urban centers in the state, is a very peaceful environment where you will see people of diverse orientation, diverse socialization, mingling together, doing things together. And it may interest you to note that Biliri is one of the areas, not even in Gombe, but in the entire country, that if, for instance, during festivities, particularly let's say Salah or Christmas, if you go to Biliri during Salah celebration, you may think the entire area is a Muslim environment, or the entire locals of that particular place are Muslim. And likewise, if you are visiting that particular area during Christmas, you may think that the entire place is a Christian environment. That is to tell you that during festivity, the entire settlement, the entire people that are living in that particular area usually celebrate together. So if it is during Christmas, even the Muslims, you will see them together with the Christians celebrating Christmas. If it is during Salah, you will see both Muslim and Christian celebrating Salah. It is going to be difficult for you to see variations and difference in the way and manner in which people relate with one another.
God has made us in such a way that we have the ability to live peacefully, irrespective of the difference in religion, whether Christian, Muslim, even atheists. And if that is happening within a family, do you expect a member of the family to rise up against the same member of the same family? No.
The people of Biliri are productive and peace-loving. On Sunday, the 10th of January 2021, the 15th Maitangle, Dr. Abdu Buba Maisharu II, died after a brief illness at the age of 72. In the aftermath of the demise, the process for the selection of the 16th Maitangle was launched by the Gombe State government. Sadly, in February 2021, violence protests erupted in Biliri town over the selection of the 16th Maitangle. In the wake of the protests, businesses, houses, and worship centers were destroyed, while the Gombe-Yola Road was barricaded, bringing the city to a complete standstill. Gombe State government imposed a 24-hour curfew in the local government as part of efforts to restore law and order. Criminologist Dr. Adamu Ahmad believes social media played a role in fueling the crisis.
So usually social media try to ignite suspicion by making people to believe what they are suspecting. If people are suspecting something and they have seen a particular information that may help them confirm their suspicion, even if it is a lie, people will now make it their view and their opinion. And this is the reason why this negative effect of social media, it has affected us in a very negative way. It has its own positive consequence or positive effect, but it also have a damning consequence to the extent that it created a very serious division among people of this country. It has affected the fragile nature of our security because of high level of suspicion, because of this, because of that. Something, and you know, high level of globalization, social media help a lot in trying to make the whole world a global village. Event and happening in Lagos, within a second, it can translate to event and happening in Gombe here. Something that happened in US, for instance, within a shortest period of time, people will know about it in Nigeria and will begin to act about that particular event. You can see how, for instance, Bring Back Our Girls movement. Immediately it started, within a shortest period of time, it has reached a level where no one is even expecting it to reach. You realize that Barack Obama, his wife, all over world leaders are all retweeting Bring Back Our Girls, for instance. This is the positive aspect of it, that within a shortest period of time, something that is considered local has become an international issue. But the negative part of it, if something happened, even if it is wrong, even if it is a lie, even if it is not a fact, even if it is not verifiable or it is not a verified event, you realize that within a shortest period of time, it will create a lot of issues and people will begin to believe and will begin to act the way and manner in which they believe. As we used to say, or as Hausa people used to say, tunaninka kamaninka. The way you think about something will determine the way you will act about it. So immediately you think about something positive, you will be acting positive. When people, for instance, from the South are having negative perception of the North, they will begin to treat people from the North in a negative way. When people from the North have a negative perception of people from the South, they will begin to act and react to people and events that has to do with people from the South in a negative way. And immediately you have this, you realize that if you are a Northerner, you are living among the Southerners, you will be in danger. Or you are a Southerner living in the midst of Northerners, you will be suspected you are in danger, and things like that. This is what usually compound the security situation.
A commission of inquiry set up by Governor Inouye Yahya said 401 businesses, 41 houses, and over 30 worship centers were destroyed, while 8 people were killed with more than 50 wounded.
The destruction is too much. A lot of houses have been burnt, you can see, commercial shops and properties of the people. And in addition, lives have been lost. So it's really a very serious setback, and it's a sad development. It's unfortunate.
Kasuwan Kantoma Biliri is one of the largest commercial hubs in the area, which was burnt by hoodlums during the crisis. The business operators in Kasuwan Kantoma are yet to recover from the economic consequences of the violent protest. Elisha Obinna is a Biliri-born Igbo businessman. He operates a multi-million naira shop where he sells electrical appliances. Obinna lost everything to the Biliri crisis.
This is my shop. I sell electronics. And then the incidents that happened, it was really a shock activity because I was in school by then. That's when it happened. I was in school, I was in my final year. But before I was in my final year, I had a little bit of money in me. I started to develop my shop. We traveled to Lagos and brought TV, electronics, different kind of gadgets, anything you want. So I was in my final year, left my dad in the shop. So they called me that this is what is happening, this is what is happening. Our shop is burned to ashes. I could not write my final year exams. I had to just decamp the semester and come and check what is happening. But to my greatest surprise, when I came, they said they didn't remove anything in my shop. This is my shop, number 45, government store. It's a government store. So I was like very glad for you people to come and see where my shop is and to explain to you what happened.
Okay, what was the experience like during that moment when you had to suspend your examinations?
The experience was sad. The experience that I faced during the incidents that happened, it shocked me. It shocked me. I cannot do anything. I began to shed tears. I was like, my dad said I should calm down, go to bring another one. I told him that this was the hustle we make. But now, as you can see, a young youth, I just finished school, no work, nothing. So you see, this is where I stay.
The young Nigerian who enjoyed the hospitality of Biliri and its people prior to the attack hopes that peace and unity will once again prevail in the city. Although Obinna was supported by the Gombe state government, the money was spent to cover the burial rites of his late father who died after the crisis.
So eventually 2 incidents happened. After the shop got burnt, after 2 weeks, my dad died. No sickness, nothing. It's just God that took him. So we went for the burial. So I was like, when we went for the pursuing of what they will compensate us with. So they came, they greeted me, they supported me. But you know, due to our burial issue, our burial in Igbo land, you spend a lot of money. So can you imagine that the money they give to me, though they say there's compensation, but you know, when you are compensated, you will not be compensated the way you were like. So I was compensated through my father's name. So what I will do as the first son of our family is to go and process for the burial. Can you imagine that? I went to Anambra State facing different kind of challenges. I went, but we finished everything successfully. But as you can see now, I didn't put any container here. There is nothing to do. I'm a graduate, no work. The property in my shop is worth 6.8 million. Because before I traveled, we did stock checking. Everything was successful. Because people from different locations, from Tula, from Bambam, from Kumo here, they used to come and buy goods, electronics and electricals from that place.
A section of business operators in the market also speak on the effect of the violent protest on their businesses.
Akwai shaguna na misalin shago uku a cikin kasuwan nan. Ni abun da na rasa ya kai kimanin kuɗi miliyan 3,500 a kowane shago. To an yi asaran dukiya, alhamdulillahi an zo an zauna da an yi ta fafatawa.
To amma gaskiya kasuwar ta samu ci baya fiye da kima. Sakamakon wannan ibtila'i da ya faru da mu, to mun sani daga Allah ne, kuma ba wanda ya isa yi wannan abu dai Allah. Mun mai da abun ga Allah.
A gaskiya ina ɗaukan su buhun forin, buhun shinkafan masa, buhun shinkafan tuwo da cefanen kayan miya da muke yi su man gyaɗa, amma dukka ya zama babu, duk sun lalace sun ƙone, shago duk sun ƙone, ga kuɗaɗen mutane kuma a kanmu. Da kayan aikinmu baki ɗaya mun rasa da yawan mu ma, don wasu ma sanadiyan wannan har sun bar gari. A gaskiya a da masan nan zan yi kamar mudu 40, 35 in kasuwa ta yi nauyi, amma yanzu na dawo baya wuce yi kwano 2-3. Shinkafan forin din nan kwana 3 muke dafa ta, to amma yanzu kudin da za mu ɗauko buhun mu yi babu.
Business owners whose shops were burnt in the crisis admitted that they were supported by Governor Inuwaya's administration. According to them, the initial help was used to build temporary stalls, adding that they want more to enable their businesses to come alive again.
I feel bad. I feel so bad. I feel so bad. Because this market is from Gombe to this side. Now this Kantoma market, after Gombe, the next place is this place. But this price is gone. I never know how I will talk.
Alhamdulillah, gole tallafin da gwamnati ta bamu, lalle waɗansu shama Allah waɗansu sun ginu. Waɗansu kuma gaskiya iya wanda ɗan buga rumfansa ɗan tamfurarin ya buga, to nan ɗan abun ya ƙare. Ba abun da za su a ciki. Amma a hakan mun yi godiya 100%. Gwamna mun gode mishi, Allah ya saka mishi da alkhairi. Haka ake son shugaba, idan abu ya samu talakawanka ka dube su, kuma ya dube mu da idon rahama, mun gode. Allah ya saka mishi da alkhairi. Muna kuma kuka ya taimaka mana da ayyukan da yake yi, ya ƙara taimaka ma 'yan kasuwan Biliri. Suna nan suna fama har yanzu waɗansu mu. Babba abin da muke bukata jari. Kuma jari kowa yana cewa yana bukatan jari, to kuɗi yake bukata. Shine babban abin da yake damu. Kaga ga shagunan da an buga, ka gani wani duka shagunan ne ko ba kayan a ciki.
Gombe State government said properties worth over 500 million naira were lost in the Biliri violent protest, a crisis that posed great economic problems to the people and the government.
You see, the compensation was paid not just anyhow. A committee was set up to look into the crisis. That committee went round, saw for itself the damage, the extent of damage, and then assessed and then made recommendation to government. Now it is based on the recommendation made by the committee that government now paid the compensation. And all those who were affected by the crisis were paid that compensation. That is why you don't see anybody grumbling, you don't see anybody complaining that he was affected but was not paid. No, government took adequate care of those who were affected. My boss, the governor, is the type that takes considerable effort in making sure that everybody, indigents and non-indigents residing in Gombe State, are secured. Anytime there is a crisis in any part of a state, especially in Gombe State, is a setback. Setback in the sense that economic activities will suffer, relationships will be affected, and then when there is no peace, even the ability to practice religion will not take place. Because it's only when there is peace that you can go to the church. It's only when there is peace that you can go to the mosque. If there is no peace, there will be no religious activities. There will be no economic activities. And if there is no economic activities, there will be no progress. And if there is no progress, then we are doomed. So when you look at it within that context, you see that, okay, even if it's one property that was destroyed, it's a setback. Somebody has lost something. Talk less of when a life is lost. These are things that you cannot bring back. So it's a serious setback. It's a regrettable setback. And that is why we pray it will never happen again in this stage.
With peace already returned to Biliri, Nigerians from the southern part of the country speak on the hospitality of the city after the crisis.
People of Biliri, Tangali to be precise, are very accommodating. They can accommodate and they are very hospitality people. They are peaceful people. Yes.
Criminologist Dr. Adamu Ahmad said distrust is a major cause of violence in Nigerian society, noting that stakeholders must strengthen trust and understanding.
The only thing to do is to call the religious leaders. The religious leaders from both sides, either Christian part or the Muslim part or the traditional part. If, for instance, there are people who are practicing traditional religion and they have followers. When you have this kind of people, then the next thing is trying to develop a common ground. And it is one of the major challenges we have having even in Nigeria that has to do with the unity of the country in itself. Lack of common ground. We should have this as critical stakeholders, religious leaders, but Muslim, for instance, have their own perspective of that particular case. Christians, for instance, Christian leaders have their own perspective of that particular case. Okay, out of this varying perspective, what do we think are common? That this ones perceive it the same way the other ones perceive it. When we have this, we have a common ground. Yes, we believe that we need peace. We believe that without peace, nothing will happen in this locality. And we believe that there is no way for us to have Christian alone in this environment. We also believe that there is no way for us to have Muslims alone in this environment. When you have this as a fact, as a common ground, then you take the varying views. Okay, this one believes in this and this one believes in this, and they are conflicting in nature. If there are conflict, that is disagreement in terms of the way you view this. Okay, what are we going to do about it? Then you narrow down to the level where these things can either be accepted or compromise should be made to reach a consensus.
The 16th Maitangle said peace has returned to Biliri and he is doing more to bring his people together.
Inda muka sa gaba mun sa zaman lafiya shine ya dore. A san yanzu duka kasan nan yanzu abin da yafi karfi zaman lafiya ne. Mu yanzu akan zaman lafiyan muke ta dore tukuna. In zaman lafiya ta dore sauran abubuwan duk zai mai sauki ne. Ai ta bangaren gwamnati kamar shi gwamnan Gombe Alhaji Muhammadu Inuwa Yaya ba abin da zamu gaya masa sai dai kan gode masa mu ce Allah ya saka masa da alheri. Don abubuwan da yake mana na batun zaman lafiya din nan ba karamin aiki bane. Allah ya bashi hikima da basira, muna roƙon Allah ya kara masa hikima da basira da lafiya yadda zamu zaman lafiyan da muke samu a Gombe nan ya dore haka.
Since no society can develop without peace, it is the expectation of all that people of Biliri would continue to strengthen the bond of peace and unity that exists among them to ensure progress at all times.